Gold can build a kingdom or destroy it. And in the early 1300s, a quiet ruler from West Africa stepped forward and made the world take notice without drawing a blade. Witnesses said he carried so much gold that entire cities trembled under the weight of his generosity. Others claimed he reshaped economies with a single journey. But behind the shine sits a truth people rarely face, one that Mali struggled to escape. Who was this man whose pilgrimage sent shockwaves from the Sahara to Cairo, whose wealth became legend, and whose choices still stir debate centuries later? This is the real Musa, not the myth, not the cartoon, the ruler whose rise came with a price. To understand Musa's rise, forget the watered-down version of medieval Africa. Mali was not scattered or primitive. It was a structured empire, stretching from the Atlantic coast to the Sahara, controlling trade routes with military discipline and tight political organization. By 1312, the empire stood at a crossroads. Abu Bakr II, Musa's predecessor, had vanished, chasing his reckless dream of crossing the Atlantic. Mali needed stability, not experiments. Musa stepped in with the calm confidence of a man who understood power far better than he showed. He wasn't loud or dramatic. He was focused, devout, and relentlessly strategic. He saw two truths clearly. First, gold wasn't wealth alone, it was leverage. Second, Islam was more than faith. It was an international network Mali had never fully tapped into. Under him, Mali's gold mines at Bambouk and Bure became the engine of the empire. North African merchants, Egyptian traders, and European buyers all recognized Mali as the heart of the world's gold supply. Musa controlled every pulse of that flow, but he wanted more than reputation on paper. He wanted global recognition, respect that couldn't be ignored or dismissed by distant rulers who still viewed Africa as a footnote. So he prepared a journey that would force the world to look at Mali with new eyes. A journey that would define his rule and turn his name into a phenomenon. That journey was the 1324 Hajj, and he didn't intend to arrive quietly. Musa didn't travel to Mecca like a pilgrim seeking peace. He traveled like a force of nature. Accounts describe a procession so large that the desert itself seemed to move. Tens of thousands of attendants, guards, servants, and traders. Camels loaded with gold bars, dust, crafted pieces. The display wasn't arrogance, it was calculated power. When Musa reached Cairo, the entire city shifted. The Mamluk Sultan al-Nasir expected another regional ruler, not a man whose wealth could rival kingdoms. Musa handed out gold freely, charity, gifts, trades, payments. But he underestimated one thing. Economies break when you drown them in gold. Prices in Cairo rose, markets spun out, gold lost value. The shock didn't settle for years. Historians still point to Musa's visit as one of the most intense economic disruptions in medieval history. But Musa wasn't playing for applause. He used the Hajj as a diplomatic weapon. He met scholars, poets, architects, and jurists. He invited them to Mali, offering wealth and influence most had never imagined. One of them, the architect Abu Ishaq es-Saheli, would leave the greatest mark. His designs reshaped Timbuktu, especially the Jingareba Mosque, still one of Africa's iconic structures. When Musa returned home, Mali wasn't just a wealthy kingdom. It was a cultural beacon, tied into the intellectual spine of the Islamic world. Timbuktu grew into a center of learning, drawing minds from across the Sahara. Its libraries held thousands of manuscripts. Its schools elevated West African scholarship to global relevance. But every rise comes with strain. Musa's empire shone brighter than ever, but it was leaning heavily on one man's brilliance. And the moment he was gone, the cracks would widen. Musa ruled with vision, but he ruled as the center of everything. Mali thrived under him, yet depended on him too much. When a system leans on one pillar, it's strong until that pillar disappears. After Musa died in 1337, his son, Magan, inherited a kingdom he wasn't built to manage. He enjoyed comfort, not responsibility. The discipline Musa enforced faded. Administration loosened. Control of trade routes weakened. Rivals sensed opportunity. Timbuktu, Musa's pride, became both Mali's treasure and its burden. A city that wealthy demanded steady, competent leadership. Magan didn't have it. Internal factions grew bold. Neighboring powers pushed harder. The Mossi raided. Desert kingdoms tested borders. And then came the power Musa had once kept quiet, Songhai. They watched Mali unravel and waited for the right moment to strike. When they finally did, they took Timbuktu, stripping Mali of its greatest symbol. None of this means Musa caused the fall, but he built a legacy so dazzling that no successor could match it. Instead of building institutions as strong as his reputation, he carried the empire by sheer force of personality. It worked while he lived. It collapsed when he didn't. This is the truth people dodge when they turn Musa into a fairy tale. A golden reign can blind a nation to slow, silent weaknesses growing underneath. Even after the decline, Musa's influence didn't fade. His impact stretched far beyond Mali's borders and long after his dynasty weakened. European mapmakers began placing Mali on global charts, depicting Musa as a crowned king holding a massive piece of gold. It wasn't admiration, it was acknowledgement. His wealth forced Europe to recognize West Africa as a serious power. Timbuktu remained a center of scholarship for generations. Its libraries held theology, astronomy, mathematics, law, and history. Even after invasions and decay, thousands of manuscripts survived, proving that West Africa wasn't silent or uneducated. It was thriving intellectually. Musa's pilgrimage also became a turning point in Islamic memory. Few rulers ever made the Hajj with such ambition or political intent. He used faith to anchor Mali into a wider world and to elevate its prestige. But his true lesson is uncomfortable. Wealth doesn't guarantee stability. A kingdom needs structure, not just shine. Musa built a golden peak, but didn't prepare enough for what came after him. His legacy is brilliance mixed with fragility, a reminder that power without continuity fades fast. History likes legends more than lessons. Musa became the symbol of unimaginable wealth, a ruler whose generosity shook economies and whose journey stunned nations. But behind the treasure was a man navigating ambition, faith, and responsibility. He carried Mali to its highest point, yet the height itself became the danger. Still, his story forces the world to see Africa before colonization as it truly was. Strong, organized, ambitious, and deeply connected to global affairs. Musa didn't sit in history's shadow. He created his own light, even if it burned too brightly for those who came after him. If this story opened your eyes to a deeper side of history, stay with us. Like, share, and subscribe to the Unnamed Legacy so you never miss the next chapter. More powerful stories are coming, and each one reveals a world often overlooked.